Hey guys, so this video is in response to Nick DiPaolo's recent video on Ellen DeGeneres, and so I watched like part of the video, and apparently he thinks Ellen DeGeneres started this whole entire social justice warrior liberal movement, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? I mean, Nick, seriously, think about it. All right, over the last 20 years, the blacks and the Jews have pretty much social justice warrior the shit out of this country. The blacks in particular got everything, including a president, over the last 20 years because of them just bitching about every single thing. This whole entire thing didn't start with Ellen. It didn't start with the whole LGBT community. It didn't start with the whole feminist group, the Me Too movement. It didn't start with any of these groups. Man, like were you around during that time? Because I'm pretty sure you were. I mean, a lot of you guys, comedians, a lot of you comedians who consider yourselves Republicans and stuff like that really have an issue with other groups that you guys can get away with just criticizing on this stuff. Like, you guys won't go and criticize the blacks. I remember a time when they complained about every single thing, and they still do, considering like the last, couple of weeks, there was this girl on this H&M ad. Apparently her hair was not good enough. I mean, they complain about that. They complain about, it's like every week there's something they complain about, and you guys are conditioned to think that, oh, it's just normal now with them, right? We're not going to say anything about the blacks. I mean, they're going to complain, oh yeah, okay, well, they have a point. But everybody else with LGBTs, women's rights groups, the recent thing with that dude on Saturday Night Live, the Asian dude, and the white comedian who, the redneck white comedian, I forget what his name is. But that was a recent thing, and you guys had this issue with, oh, you know what? It's a really heavy atmosphere right now as far as, comedians trying to do their current material and they're being restricted. Dude, you guys have been restricted for like the last 20 years doing black material. You guys don't do black materials anymore. All right, I remember a time when Jonathan Winters and Robin Williams could do these black caricatures that they often do. A lot of comedians do. They could get away with these kind of black jokes, but you guys can't get away with that anymore. And you guys didn't really say anything about that over the last 20 years. Now the other groups are smarting up about it, and they're like, hey, you know what? Black people have complained and gone what they've gone, pretty much gone a social affirmative action program, a cultural affirmative action program that pretty much lifted them up without having to do any work. And let's be honest, black people haven't really improved their situation over the last 20 years. Outside of the media, outside the branding, they really haven't improved anything as far as the IQ is the same, the crime rate is the same, the rape rate is the same, the STD rate is the same, out of wedlock rate is the same, crime rate is the same. You got like 20 people getting shot up in Chicago every weekend. Like, all that stuff is the same. It hasn't changed. Poverty rate is the same. What has changed is that the media is pretty much, they pretty much bowed down to black civil rights organizations that pretty much, giving them the Coca-Cola treatment as far as, representation. Like, every single representation of them is a doctor, a lawyer, CEO, judge. They're never portrayed as criminals. They're never portrayed as drug dealers. They're never portrayed as pimps, etc., etc. anymore. And if they are, there's always a positive lining to their characters. Like, they get to save the day. Like Denzel Washington saving the little white girl. I mean, normally he'd be raping her. Let's be honest about that. The rape statistics with black guys are it's as high as it has ever been. Let's be honest with that. I mean, you guys don't seem to have a problem with that. I've seen a ton of crimes committed by blacks that only gets spotlighted on certain websites on the internet. A group of black teens just going around hitting people in Philadelphia, you know, in this state fair, group of blacks, you know, robbing places. You guys don't mention any of that stuff. Like, you guys never bring any of that stuff up. Why is it that you guys don't bring any of that stuff up? Why is it that the media doesn't cover that? I mean, think about that, guys. You conditioned 20 years of conditioning of one group where you guys will not look at them negatively at this point, because apparently you guys have white guilt because you guys think it's racist to look at them as a negative way or mentioning them in a negative way. But you guys will transfer all that racism to these other groups that got nothing to do with you. All right, gay people, they got their own gay thing, but that's got nothing to do with you. But you guys will criticize them. They got nothing to do with you, but you guys will criticize them. Also, you know, the women's rights groups, guys. Like, let's be serious. I mean, how does that actually affect you in a way where it threatens you guys? It doesn't. All right. The whole thing with that white comedian going all racial on Asians, but he really did go all racial on a whole bunch of. He went racial on Muslims, Jews, and it was the Jews that got him kicked off of Saturday Night Live because he was still there for a week. You know, after he made. You know, whatever that situation was with Asian people. So you guys really need to just smarten up about this stuff, okay? You guys, this society can't have it one way where you guys treat one group with, you know, respect. You know, blacks, you guys don't seem to want to push the boundaries with that group, but you guys are okay with pushing the boundaries with other groups. It doesn't work that way. All right, you know, it doesn't work that way. All right, and for the fact that you guys go out of your way to just constantly criticize these other groups, just absolutely, and I've said this before, absolutely makes you guys a bunch of pussies, because you guys will not go after the groups that are actually affecting you. You guys will go after groups that have absolutely no effect on you as, you know, whatever your lifestyle is, whatever your culture is, it has no effect on you. All right? I'm not gay. I'm not a woman, so I'm not a feminist. I'm not any of these groups. I'm not trying to support or not support the whole social justice warrior movement, but that whole thing started with blacks and Jews, with the race card, with the anti-Semitic card. It started with that, okay? That's where the mountain is. All right, you guys are going to these molehills, right? Molehills, and trying to step on it, but you know, that whole huge ass gate, you guys aren't gonna cross. You guys aren't gonna push the boundaries of that. It's wrong. All right, people are seeing your hypocrisy. All right, this is not 10 years ago. It's not 15 years ago where you guys could get away with, you know, transferring that racism to other groups and then excuse it. You guys can't do that anymore. That's your problem. You guys are constantly saying, well, you know what? We now we have limited material to work on. If your jokes were racist to begin with, you already had limited material. But to be honest, you guys limit your material with blacks. You know, you guys only do positive racism. Well, positive racism. You only do positive stereotypes and neutral stereotypes when it comes to blacks and Jews. All right, positive and neutral stereotypes are not racist. They're racial in nature because it's specifying a specific group, but it's not racist in nature. There's the difference between racial and racist. All right. But you guys have no problem going negatively racist on LGBTs, on gays, on women's rights groups, on people with, you know, fat issues, whatever the list goes down as far as social justice warriors is concerned. You guys seem to be a bunch of pussies. All right, look, if you guys want to get rid of this whole entire social justice warrior thing, start with the blacks. Take away everything that the blacks got over the last 20 years. Take away the whole anti-Semitic card of the Jews. Take away that. Take away that first, and then you guys could go after everybody else. Until you guys do that, don't talk. All right? Until you guys do that, you guys are a bunch of cowards, because you guys are only going after selectively going after certain groups that's got nothing whatsoever to do with you. And you guys need to stop that because it's really annoying. You know, that shit is like really, really, really annoying. Okay, it shouldn't exist the way it exists. And people are seeing how that paradigm exists, how that paradigm has existed for the last 20 years, and they're calling you out on it, guys. They're calling you out on it.